All right, hello everybody. This is going into week 8 of culinary, and as I mentioned, we will be visiting India, or Indian style cuisine, and we'll be making 2 dishes and a side. The side will be a lemon flavored rice pilaf, or pilau as it's sometimes referred to in Persia. Persia is kind of Middle Eastern states, or what used to be Persia. So our ingredients for our rice is, of course, our basmati. Okay, 1.5 cups. Our chicken stock, which will be 2 cups. Chicken stock, half of an onion, small diced. The zest and the juice of 1 lemon. Saffron. Okay, as I mentioned to you guys last week, the stamen of the crocus flower, which has a nice flavor and aroma, a little cinnamon, and some clove as well too. So it'll give it a nice flavor. Okay, so the first thing is we need to zest our lemon. So there's a couple ways that we can do that. First, make sure that you wash the lemon real well. Get any surface dirt off of it. Dry it. Okay. And what we want to do is take the outer skin off. Now, there's a couple ways. If you have a vegetable peeler, you can just take a vegetable peeler and slide your vegetable peeler across. Take off thin little strips, okay, like that. And we won't use all this lemon, probably just a few strips. Or you can use a paring knife. Paring knife, same thing, just make sure it's sharp and just carefully slide it right up underneath the skin and try to focus on just getting the yellow part, not the white part. White is known as the pith, and that could be a little bitter. So again, just kind of very carefully shave the lemon, either again with a zester, or excuse me, not a zester, but a paring knife or a vegetable peeler. Okay, so we're going to set that off to the side, and then we're going to take all of these little strips and we're going to very, very thinly slice them. You want to be very careful. Watch your fingers, because again, it's going to be very, very thin. Okay, you want to make sure that they're not thick chunks. So if you come across some that are like this, okay, just discard them. Okay, or there we go. So a little lemon zest. Okay. And then we have to juice our lemon as well too. So what I'd like to do before juicing the lemon is I'll roll it on my cutting board like that. Okay, just to kind of break up the pulp that's in the inside. Cut my lemon in half, and there's 2 ways. There it is. One is a reamer, and that's what this is. Okay, it's a reamer. So you just take and place it into the lemon, push in, squeeze the lemon against the reamer. Okay, and then give it a squeeze. That's one way. If you don't have a reamer, it's okay. A fork. Just take a fork, insert a fork in the center, and then just squeeze. Just do it a little carefully, okay, because you want the juice to end up in the cup and not all over. Okay, there we go. All right. So now we have our lemon juice. Now, as you can see, there are seeds in there. We do want to get those seeds out. So I'm just going to get a little strainer. And we want to end up with a quarter of a cup of lemon juice. And I can see we're a little short on this lemon, so that's okay. We just need to make sure that we have a quarter cup of volume for the rice. So what you'll need to do is, if you come up a little short, if you have another lemon, great, you can go ahead and zest it. But if not, then just go ahead and top it off with a little chicken stock so that you end up with a quarter of a cup or 2 ounces, okay? So I'm gonna just go ahead and take that lemon juice and I'm gonna add it to my chicken stock that I have. Okay. Now, next step, our onion. I'm getting our onion ready. Just set that there, set that. All right, so we have our onion. I'm gonna cut it in half. Cut off our ends. Okay. Peel our skin. All right, now, just like with everything, we're going to go ahead and small dice. So I'm just going in one direction. Actually, it's a little smaller than a small dice, really more in between kind of 1/8 of an inch and 1/4 of an inch. You just want to make sure you got small pieces. So let's just say somewhere between a brunoise, which is 1/8 of an inch square, and a small dice, which is 1/4 of an inch. Don't go any bigger than 1/4 of an inch. Don't go any smaller than 1/8 of an inch. Okay, so there's our onion right there. All right. So I'm just going to take my onion and I'm going to put that right there. Okay. So there's our onion. I'm just going to set that off to the side. Okay. Now we can go ahead and start to make our rice. Now, I did forget to mention that it is my mistake to a degree. You do need the lemon zest, but that's going to be for the chicken curry, okay, that we're going to make after the rice. But we needed to zest that before we juice the lemon. So just take this lemon zest and just reserve it off to the side for the curry. Okay, let's go ahead and get ourselves ready. Let me get my pan. Okay, so there's my pan. Turn on my heat. I'm gonna just reposition this a little bit. There we go. Okay. All right, so I've got my heat on high. Got my rice, my chicken stock, salt and pepper. A little rubber spatula or a wooden spoon would be fine as well too. All right, so while that's heating up, I'm just going to take a moment to kind of straighten up my station. Okay, let's turn that up a little bit. Okay. Take your cinnamon stick, if you can, break it in half. Okay, and it's not breaking, so I just used the back of my knife and just kind of tapped on it, and it was able to crack that in half. Okay. All right, so we're ready. Pan's now hot. Gonna add a little oil, about 2 tablespoons. Swirl to make sure I'm coating the bottom of my pan. Need just a little more. There we go. Okay. All right, so my oil is in, it coats the bottom. Now I'm going to add my onions. And I'm going to start to sweat my onions. A little bit of fruit in there. Okay. A little onion. A little salt. Two small pinches. A little pepper. Another little pinch. There we go. I'm going to turn my heat down a little bit. All right. I want to cook until translucent. Okay. All right, very good. All right. Once the onions start to become translucent, we're going to go ahead and add our rice. So let's see, we can go ahead at this point, add our rice, and we're going to cook our rice. Again, very similar to our jambalaya. And you'll notice as you cook the rice, it's going to, now in this case, the opposite of the onions. It's going to go from translucent to opaque. And you want to keep gently stirring, gently stir. Don't get in there and get crazy. Gently stir. Okay. watch your heat so that you don't get too much color. If you get a little bit of color, it's okay. A couple of the rice granules, or grains I should say, start to turn a little brown, that's okay. It's actually going to add a nice little nutty flavor to it, but you want to be careful you don't go too far and burn it. Okay. All right. So now a large majority of my rice is now turned opaque. Okay. Kind of give you a little light to see. Okay, a little bit of my onion starting to caramelize a little bit. That's okay, as long as, again, we don't burn it. And then again, just gently stir. Okay. So, watch my heat. All right, very good. Okay, so I can see now that almost all of my rice has become opaque. Okay, so I kind of, I know it's maybe not a white on white with the white spatula, and the white rice doesn't show up very well, but it's now opaque. Okay, and that's what we want. That's wonderful looking. Okay. Now the last part, add our saffron. Okay, so put the saffron in the palm of your hand. Gently break it up with your fingers, okay, into little pieces, little crumbles, and then sprinkle that over the top. Add your cinnamon and your clove, and then your stock. And don't forget the stock had the lemon juice added to it. So you need a total